everybody. Hello, hello. We are just fixing our camera. Let's see. Yes, I want you to see more of Celli. More of Celli Bay. Boop, boop. Not enough. Celli's not going to be happy. Let's try this. Doopy doop boop boop. Yay! I'll take it. All right. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm so excited to be playing for you all tonight or today, depending on where you're watching from. We are going to have a Bach party. Bach party. If my stand cooperates. I don't have all 6 suites memorized and all the individual movements. All right. Let's get the star of the show, Mr. Cello. All right. Yes, this will work nicely. All right, my dolls. All right. So, for tonight's stream, I am going to be playing some of my personal favorite movements of Bach. So we're going to kind of jump around the suites today. And I had a special order in mind for tonight. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. I've learned and worked on all 6 cello suites. And these particular movements just kind of always stuck out to me and seemed really special. The whole suite, all the suites, the entirety of each suite is very special. But for me, these particular movements really, I don't know, they spoke to me for some reason. So I'm stringing some of these together. And I think we're now in a time of hope, a time of optimism, and I want to kind of take us on a journey. How did we get here? You know, it's summertime, people are starting to go outside again, and I just kind of want to make a little story for you dolls tonight with the Bach suites. So we're going to kind of start, put yourself in the mind of where you were maybe this time a year ago. Not a better place. I definitely prefer how I feel right now, but that's where I'm going to start with one of my favorite preludes. The prelude to the 2nd suite in D minor is where we're going to begin. So I hope you all enjoy. So next, we've had our prelude, and I'm going to move on to the saraband from the fifth suite. Now, this saraband, when you first look at the music, it doesn't look like a large movement. It's pretty short. The notes, the rhythm and the notes, it's very misleading, but it's actually a very profound movement to me. I think it conveys a very deep kind of, I don't know, it's a combination of sorrow and also longing to me. This is my interpretation, of course, but we've had the prelude and we're going to stay in this kind of somber world for a little bit longer with the saraband. So now, in our journey of my favorite Bach movements, we're going to come into the point of having more hope and optimism, brightness, joy. And again, I think that's very, very relevant to where we are right now. So this kind of bright, sunny atmosphere, I wonder which prelude she's going to pick. All right. So we're going to have next a slower, very beautiful movement. And I'm currently working on the sixth suite again. And I wanted to perform for you guys the Allemande. I think this Allemande is very special. And it does have a dance form because it is an Allemande. It's based off of a dance. But the Allemandes are extremely heavy with written out improv. Bach notates a lot of ornamented runs and fast passages, and it's all improv, really. He's just writing it out. And Bach was an improvisational master when he was alive. So I wanted to include this allemande, and just take a deep breath and have a moment for yourself with this one, because it is very beautiful. Isn't that magical? Oh, I love that allemande. I fall in love with it more and more as I play it. And there is this part, I just think it's so magical, where you get this low open C string out of nowhere, and then he goes in through all of these different keys. I'm just gonna play one more time. I have to. It's so pretty. Let's see. It's in the second half, when the second half of the allemande starts. Oh, it's so good. He could have just gone, but no, he just drops almost an octave and a half. Oh, it's so good. I love it. Okay, my dolls. So for the last movement, our kind of finale is, I think it's my favorite jig. The jig is the last movement of every Bach suite, and the jig was kind of like a very rompous dance for the commoners of the time, I believe. I haven't been in a music history class in at least 2 years, but I believe it was a dance for the commoners, and it wasn't something you would find in a royal court or a royal ball. So the jig, it's a party dance, guys. It's a big party dance, and that's where the word jig comes from too. So there you go. And we're here to party. This is a celebration live stream, so I thought I should end it with a jig. And I guess Bach does too with his suites. He always ends it with a party. So this is the jig from the third suite in C major. And I'm going to repeat because I love this one so much. And I'm going to do some improv on the repeats. That was very typical in Bach's time. When you had a piece, we'll call it binary form. That's the technical fancy term for it. But when you have a piece that has 2 repeats in it, you usually kind of improvise and embellish on the second repeat. So I'm going to do that with this one too. Yay! I love that one. You can't help but smile when you hear that jig. Oh man. Woo! Really fun. Thank you guys so much for being here. Fun fact, when I do these live streams or whenever I'm recording, I don't have the air conditioner on because that affects the sound and the mic catches it. And it's been like, I don't know, in the high 70s. So there's no AC and I have a ring light on me. Woo! Woo! Ah, very good. Okay, so my dolls, you had the music, and now we are going to do kind of a Q&A session. You guys can ask me whatever you'd like. It can be about cello, it can be about what it's like to do social media, it can be about recording, any questions. I know I do cello tips, excuse me, but I wanted to have a chance for any of you guys to ask any I'm gonna say personal questions. I mean, nothing too personal, like nothing weird, but just some time for us to hang out. Maybe you have questions about what it's like to go to music school. Any of you dolls who might be considering a music degree, you can ask questions about my experience in music school. Ooh. I'm going to put Celli in his case really quick. And I'm going to go get a soda because I think I earned a soda. And I'm going to be right back. You dolls, literally, I'm going to be not even 5 minutes, like 2 minutes. So type any questions you have in the chat. I'm also doing this because I know there's a tiny delay with stream. So I want to give you guys time to put questions in the chat. And this is an Ask Me Anything. So any questions you have, I already see one from the Movie Junkie. I love that name. So I'll answer that when I come back. And yeah, just take a couple minutes and put your questions in the chat. And I'll be right back. All right, everybody. Hello, I'm back. I moved the mic, so I hope you guys can hear me better. Let me turn up the gain. Hoo-hoo, fancy words. Okay. So if you guys can't hear me very well, let me know, or if you need it to be louder. Okay. So we had I promised I would answer that movie junkie. I'm gonna open my soda. Wait. Oh yeah. That's so satisfying. Okay. So the movie junkie, Yarger or Larson strings. What strings do you recommend? Yeah, that is a good question. Unfortunately, it's also a complicated question because the strings you buy, it's all individual to your instrument. You can have one set of strings sound beautiful on someone's instrument, and then you could put them on my instrument and they could sound terrible. So, unfortunately, it's all about personal preference and what kind of instrument you have. I do see you asked specifically about Yarger and Larson strings. Now, I will say both of those brands do have a wide range, meaning there are some cheaper strings that might be better for a beginner instrument, all the way up through professional level or high quality strings. So there is a spectrum. I will say Larson and Yarger are pretty affordable. Both of those brands, I personally used Yarger strings for my A&D all throughout undergrad and most of my masters too. Very interesting. Experimenting with A&D, Yarger, G&C, Larson. Sure. Again, I used Yarger A&D. I believe I used the medium in the blue package, but again, my own instrument, maybe you would need the solo or something softer. So absolutely, mixing and matching strings is great. I definitely think if you are just starting out in college, I would recommend Larson and Yarger. They both they both are pretty affordable and they last for a pretty good time, pretty long time. And the only reason I don't say other brands is just because they tend to be pretty expensive. And, if you buy a string for experimenting on it and you don't like it, that's a ton of money spent on a string and you might not even use it. So what I would recommend is if you have cello buddies, you could do a string swapping party or trade where you guys take your spare strings and you lend them to one another. That's how I tried out some strings. My teacher was very generous, and I had a teacher give me some old strings they weren't using anymore, and they weren't old as in about to break. They were just used for a bit and he didn't need them anymore. So he let me try them out. So don't be shy about asking. But yeah, I would say Larson and Yarger are pretty good for college level. I believe Larson has a few more options that are I know some professional cellists use high grade Larson strings. I'm not quite sure how high the Yarger goes. But yeah, I can't speak for Larson strings because I've never tried them. But speaking of strings, somebody asked How often do you change strings? Hello, I'm so glad you're watching from Brazil. So nice. I love it. Thank you for coming. How often do you change strings? So, this is a great question. It depends on how often you play. If you're like me and you are a professional player, and especially when you're practicing a lot for school or a concert, this is kind of, I'm talking college and beyond. You should change your A and D strings twice a year, so every 6 months, and the G and C strings once a year, every 12 months. If you are just starting out, if you're a beginner, or if you don't play cello professionally but you're in a community orchestra and such, and you're not a professional but you just enjoy music and you want to have it as a part of your life, you could probably double the time. So change your lower strings every 2 years and your A and D once a year, I would say. Um, Great. Something to say has something to say. They ask, I'm sorry, you probably get that all the time. I know. I did it. I did it. Um, how how do your music school professors feel about live streaming? Do they see it as legit classical music? That's a very good question. Um, everyone's going to have their own opinion, and you're going to find every opinion out there. That's just the nature of, the arts. You know, you're going to find every opinion on the spectrum. But especially, you bring up a very good point because, and this is kind of a big reason for Cello Doll to exist. There's a lot of conservative viewpoints about classical music. It is one of the oldest musical genres that is still listened to regularly today. So it's gone through a lot of history, and there are a lot of conservative notions about it. So to talk about streaming classical music online, which is very modern, lots of technology involved. I think the only downside that I've heard from professors and colleagues is you're not going to get the same quality of sound unless you are unless you pre-record the concert and then stream it, where you're not watching the person in live time, but they are hosting a recorded concert or recital as a debut concert. That's the only way to ensure something is absolutely how you expect it to sound, is to pre-record it and then broadcast it online and call it a stream. What I just did for you dolls was live time playing. And the only concern with that is you're not going to get the same quality of sound as if you guys were sitting in a concert hall and I was playing for you. It's not going to sound the same. It also depends on how's your internet connection, how's my internet connection. What kind of space am I playing in? I am in a bedroom, which I think works pretty well, but it's not a concert hall. So that's the only downside I've really heard, is you can't really control the sound quality. I mean, you can do your best, and I certainly do my best with my microphone and my oh my god, my interface. Jeez. Oh my goodness! Special guest Professor Cole! Hello! One of my teachers from Manus is here, and Professor Cole says, "Congrats, grad! Thank you so much." Um, I'm going to put a pin in that because I have something exciting I want to tell you guys about Professor Cole's class. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much. Um, what a nice surprise. And we were talking about streaming. That's right. We were talking about streaming. Um, but I also have a lot of professors who think it's amazing that musicians can stream and we have the internet. And I'm seeing in the chat, we have people from Brazil, we have people from Mexico. You guys, you guys couldn't come see me play if I was playing live in a concert hall because you're in Brazil and Mexico. But because of online streaming and the internet and platforms like YouTube, classical music is so much more accessible. And also with YouTube, like today, this concert was free. So because I'm not monetized yet, but I'm working on it. We will get there. But even if I was, it would still be free for you guys. So that doesn't matter. But you know, classical music is much more affordable now that it's streamed online. And so I hope that helps. And I was mentioning Professor Cole. I took his class about Ableton Live. And I am so excited about Ableton because it's both a recording software, it's a DAW, a digital audio workstation, but also you can add effects and synthesized instruments. And I've really gotten into mixing and making sound worlds rather than before. A lot of my music videos are stacked cellos, which is really cool. And I still love to do that. But this is another exciting element. So some of my upcoming projects I'm really excited about. You guys are going to hear much more, a much more variety in the upcoming music videos and all of that. So I'm really excited. And thank you for coming. Professor Cole, we're doing a Q&A session, and I just played some Bach for the first half hour. So we had another question. Which study books do you recommend? Greetings from Mexico. Hello, thank you for being here. So for cello books, you know, it kind of depends on which level you are at. I can say safely, if you are a cellist, you will encounter the pauper etudes. Those are for intermediate and college playing, college level playing. I played the pauper etudes throughout undergrad, and I started them in high school, and it's super standard for cellists to play pauper. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't drink soda while I stream because I'm burping. So you'll definitely encounter the pauper etudes. If you're talking about beginner books, I'm biased because I grew up playing the Suzuki, playing from the Suzuki books. I didn't follow the Suzuki method. There's a difference. Some people, including myself, I teach with the Suzuki books, but I teach the repertoire. I don't full on teach the method. I hope that makes sense. So you could use the Suzuki books for beginners. The songs are great. A lot of them are traditional folk tunes. So they fit really well on the string instrument. And some other books, the Duport etude books are really popular. Those are kind of intermediate. They're very good for bow work, extremely good for bow work, the Duport etudes. And that's Duport, Duport. do poor etudes. Please keep the questions coming. I love this. I love doing open Q&A. So we have a question. Koala B, do you get nervous before playing? Well, of course I do. And I think people, calling it getting nervous is a different meaning for everybody. And for me, when I say I get nervous, it's more because I really care. I really care about how I sound. I care about you guys enjoying the music. I care a lot about doing Bach well and honoring his music in a nice way. So I get nervous. It's not that I doubt myself, but I just have really high expectations, I think, is what it comes down to. And believe it or not, I was shocked in undergrad when I talked to my teachers about being nervous or having stage fright. And adult professional symphony players, some of the best in the world, they go, "Oh yeah, I still get nervous." And I'm like, "What? But you're in the symphony and you won that audition and you still get nervous." And when I learned that, when I learned that they still get nervous, well, then I didn't feel so bad anymore about being nervous. So yeah, I think that's what being nervous means for me. I also feel a lot of adrenaline when I'm about to play. And so, I get a lot of pent up energy. So sometimes that can feel like nerves, but it's really adrenaline. So that's kind of what happens with me. Yeah, but I don't really get too nervous anymore. Little bit, but the more you perform, the more you get used to it, the more it's normalized, and you start worrying less or not at all because it becomes a part of your artist routine. And that's why I'm so excited for live shows again, because I want to get into that habit of performing regularly again, live in front of people. So we have another question about practicing. Do you recommend practicing playing fast music? So this is about practicing fast music by starting slow, then speeding up, or break down the music into small segments, but practice those fast. Why not do both? I do both, but I always start with slow. I always start slow first. I want a sip of soda. Hold on. It's so good. It's black cherry, my favorite. So good. So no, it's not an ad. I wish it was an ad. That would be so awesome to get sponsored by your favorite soda company. So yes, playing fast music. I start slow, and that took me the longest time to learn, but it is so helpful because playing music slow, practicing it slowly, your body is able to process the muscle memory, the physicality of the passage, the muscle memory of the intonation, the tuning. All of that is going to get ingrained in your brain more successfully if you practice slowly. If you practice too fast, you might not retain everything. If you think about it, if you are, let's say you're on the side of the road and you see a car go by, and let's say a car goes by you like 90 miles an hour, and someone says, "Okay, describe the car." Well, you could probably say the color and maybe the make, maybe, if you get a good look at it. But if you watch your car and it's going like 5 miles an hour, if it's crawling by you, you're going to be able to say the make, the model, maybe the year, the license plate, how many people are in the car. Um, things like that. You're going to get a lot more details if it goes by you slowly. And the same thing kind of applies for cello playing and muscle memory, you know? Um, so I really recommend slow playing. And then when you start getting more comfortable and you start slowly speeding up your tempo, and sometimes if you try to play a big long passage fast, but you can't quite get through all the way, the muscle memory is like 80% there, then I would do that small segment practicing. I would call it bursts. That's what a past teacher of mine called it, was the burst exercise. You would play like one measure fast, then the next measure fast, then the third measure fast, and then you would do 2 measures fast, 3 measures fast, and eventually you would work up the muscle memory and the stamina for the entire passage. I hope that helps. And I'm warning you, I have really wacky analogies for everything that I come up with on the spot, because for me, visualizations help me learn, imagery helps me learn. So I hope that made sense to you all. And we still have 13 of you here, which is amazing. You guys didn't leave. Even though I went on a little rant over there. You're most welcome. Yes, somebody asked, where are you graduating from? Oh, thank you. I graduated last month from the Mannes School of Music in New York City. And I graduated with a performance diploma. And what a performance diploma is, it's considered a graduate level degree. So this is something some people might not know about music school. You have your bachelor's or your undergraduate, which is pretty standard for all studies. You have a bachelor's, and then you can go on and get a master's. And the master's in music and the performance diploma, you can get them in any order. So what I ended up doing was I went for my master's after my bachelor's. So I went and got my master's degree, and the master's degree has more academics involved. You have a little bit more coursework. You might have music theory and music history, so kind of more academic requirements. Oh, thank you so much. More congratulations. That's very sweet. Thank you. So the master's has more coursework involved, and then it's a performance diploma, also can be called an artist diploma. Your job is to perform. Like, that is the main sole focus of a diploma, is to perform and practice, lots of practicing. So your class schedule is actually really light. You don't have that many academic requirements. For my diploma, I had to do orchestra, some sort of chamber music, and private lessons. Orchestra, chamber music, private lessons. And then I think I had one or two electives I had to do. So no music theory, no music history. I had electives. I could have done that if I wanted to, but I had been doing years and years and years of music theory, music history. And yeah, so you can get them in any order. Some people, if they really have a high expectation for their masters and they want to go to a really competitive school, sometimes after their bachelor's, they'll go for a diploma and just focus on preparing for the audition. And then they audition and go for their master's a couple years later. Or what I did, I went for my master's first, and then I went for my diploma second, so I could really focus on gigging, freelancing, networking, and setting the foundation for my career. So those are kind of the two options for degrees. I know no one asked about that, but I thought it was interesting, and a lot of people don't know about that. Um, so yes, I got my performance diploma from Manus School in New York City. Really fun school. I really enjoyed my time there. Yeah. Do we have any questions or any more questions or any dolls considering music school? We're also here to just celebrate. So do any of you guys have any celebrations, any good news you guys want to share? You don't have to, but I just want this to be, a fun stream for everybody. So oh, thank you so much. Congrats for the birthday and the performance grad. Thank you. That's very kind of you. It was a very busy month last month. May was crazy busy. Um, so I said, I'm going to stream and play some Bach when it's all done. Do you guys have any other questions? I have a couple announcements that I would really like to share with you all. So, but I want to make sure no one has any final questions. So I'm going to sip and make sure the stream catches up. I'm going to sip slowly. That is backward. No questions? Okay. If I see one, I'll answer it really quickly. But oh, do you find you need to be in the mood to practice? That's a good question. Yeah, I think you do. I mean, oh, thank you, Garen Ritter. Congrats on the graduation. Thank you so much. Be in the mood to practice. You do, because it will determine your productivity, I think. Although sometimes if I have a really busy day and I have like this 1 hour or 2 hour chunk and I have no other option, and I'm like, I just got to sit down and do it. So it really depends. But I think definitely some practice days are better than others. And I do think that's because, it depends on mindset. It really does. If you are feeling productive or if you're feeling like groggy and tired, you might not practice as well. So I definitely think there is a golden mindset and mood when you're going to practice. Like some days I'm so determined, and then some days I'm going to be honest, I'm tired and I don't want to, but I do. Excuse me, and I get stuff done, but yeah, there is an ideal mood, but we don't always have time, and time's a luxury. So, I often just practice when I can. And I'm going to say last question before I do my announcements and say goodnight and goodbye to you all for now. How many years playing the cello? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. This is a big one. In August, it's going to be 20 years. 20 years. 20. 20. It's a long time. It's a really long time. But yes, this August, 20 years ago, I took my first. I wish I knew the date. I don't know the exact date, but yeah, that's what it is. 20 years. So thank you all so much for coming tonight. This was a time to celebrate, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope you guys have things to celebrate too. If not, I hope this brightened up your day. Bach has that effect on a lot of people. So I think it was perfect to play this evening. Announcement time. At the end of the month, there will not be a Cello Tip Tuesday live stream. This is kind of replacing the Cello Tip Tuesday live stream for the month of June. But the reason there isn't a live stream is there's gonna be a surprise at the end of June that it's kind of taking place. I will be back in July for another Cello Tip Tuesday live stream, but there's a big surprise coming, and I am so excited to share it with you all. I think you guys are really going to like it. So, no live stream at the end of this month. And are you going to be combining any more pieces? Oh, you wait. I have some ideas later on for the summer and into the fall. There are going to be some really exciting things coming down the road, and I'm very excited to share them with you guys. We are so due for a music video, and I'm really excited for these upcoming things I'm working on. And lastly, if you guys aren't aware, I am fundraising for my first album. And it's really important to me. I'm so excited. This will be my first album ever. And I'm hoping for it to come out next fall. So 2022 in the fall, I'm really wanting to work this year in making the album, recording it. I've already started writing for it. So I am fundraising for it. If you guys want to contribute, people who donate, you are going to get free music from the album. Yeah. So there are certain donation levels where you get free music from my album once it's produced. And I am going, the link is in the description of this video. And excuse me, I do want to put it in the chat really, really quick. Hold on. I had meant to do this before I streamed, and I didn't. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. Just again, it is in the description of this video, as are all of my goodies, all of Cello Doll, fun virtual things. But I just, you guys can consider it. No pressure at all. Trust me, I know this is a hard time for everybody. But there you go. If you guys want to take a peek, that's my fundraiser for the album. Thank you guys all so very much for coming. Seriously, I play music for people. Yes, I love it myself, but it is so meaningful when there are people there to share it with and people we get to perform for. So thank you guys so much for being here on a Friday. If it's night, morning, wee hours, wherever it is, thank you guys so much for being here. And if you guys want to, if you joined late, I keep all streams up so you can go back and watch the beginning if you would like. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your congratulatory wishes about graduation. That is so kind and wonderful of you all. That's why I love my dolls. You guys are really nice and beautiful people. So thank you so much. You guys have an excellent night, and we'll see you for more surprises coming this summer. Bye, my dolls. Bye.